All right, so we're back with another video for you guys, another reaction video. So today we're going to be talking about Mr. Organik's Lamborghini Urus, and we were able to finally find the video on his channel. The last video we dropped, I was actually trying to find the video on Organik's channel where he's trying to explain his position when it comes to this Lamborghini Urus and how he was able to make a big profit on the car. And you know his stories. You guys know his stories by now with every single car. And then, like I told you, eventually we were going to find out, folks. We were going to find out. And as you guys know, and you're going to see it again today, the Lamborghini Urus is available for sale for $240,000. But I wanted to play the video where you guys are going to get to hear Organik explain, you know, the lease situation and how, you know, how he made money or whatever. And shout out to Ashley Harwood, because he actually dropped a clip on his channel. Then I was able to figure out which video it was, because if you go on Organik's channel looking up the Lamborghini Urus last day or final day or whatever, all those are clickbait titles. There's really no content about the Urus. It's actually one of those videos where it's titled something about the jewelry. Actually, is when he actually talks about the Urus. So we were able to find that video. So I'm actually gonna let's check this out so you guys get to hear what Organik had to say about this. This is crazy, and it's kind of funny at the same time, actually.
Attaching me is my soul, my mind, my body. As long as I got that, I don't care about nothing else, man. I'm gonna show you how to move like that. Until things come and go, until things can't go and come back again and go back around and come. We ain't attached to nothing, man. We gonna get it all. We can give it up and go get it again, man. If you a boss, you can do that, man. Bosses bounce back. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you our reputations and redemption. Understand these, man. With the
He said bosses bounce back, man. Come on, man. Cut it out. Cut it out. That's not what you said last year. Last year you said next year you're going to have a bigger house, you're going to have a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, and you're going to have a yacht. In fact, you said when you were at Malibu, you said you were going to get a Pagani the following year because I guess you and Tall Guy bumped into Manny Koshbin, and he had a Bugatti. I don't remember if it was the Bugatti or the Pagani, but you guys said you were going to get a Pagani. And it doesn't look like you got a Pagani. It looks like you've been like liquidating pretty much everything. And now you haven't even been dropping content. This man hasn't been dropping content for 10 whole days. Isn't this the man that says never give up? Man, that sure does look like you gave up, my boy. So this is the website for the dealer, and you guys already seen this, but I just wanted to share it with you guys in case some of you guys missed out on that video. You didn't see it. Yes, Organik's Lamborghini Urus is available for sale for $240,000. But I just wanted to hear. I mean, I already knew what he said, but you guys got to hear this part out.
So that's what y'all want to watch. I want y'all to just feel like, yeah, it's gone. 3 of them lost it all, and then watch them get them back. So that's the mode, yo. We ain't protecting no negativity. We know it ain't like that, but I want to feel that mode so people can, you know, run with that, so we can grow it back and then be amazed at the accomplishments we get, you know. So ride with me, man. So I want to start back from the seat with my people, baby. Oh, they got a little what's this? A little farmer's market.
By the way, he's actually driving, so all that turn signal stuff you hear, that's actually from his video.
You know, I go to the bank, man. You know. Shout out to the homie that pulled up. He bought my PlayStation. I forgot his name, but I appreciate that because I ain't doing with that PlayStation. Appreciate that love. And just, you know, a couple people bought more items too. So when I get my items sold, if it's direct to hand cash, I just put it in the bank, man. I don't never keep cash on it, man. I got a whole lot of meatloaf on me right now. Where it's going? It's going right to the bank. I ain't keeping this. I don't want this, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't keep that on us, man. We put that in the bank, man. Put your money in the bank, and then, you know, over there, just whistling.
You got a minute? How about all week?
Money in the bank. Switch brakes, Lambo, already sold. You know what I'm saying? And the brilliant thing about this Lamborghini, let me tell you, I'm gonna break it down for y'all real quick. I'll be fast. My Lamborghini Urus, I bought it with $50,000 over sticker.
So he bought it. You guys just heard, right? $50,000 over sticker. Again, $50,000 over sticker. We're just gonna listen to this piece by piece.
I'm saying, and the brilliant thing about this Lamborghini, let me tell you, I'm gonna break it down for y'all real quick. I'll be fast. My Lamborghini Urus, I bought it with $50,000 over sticker. And the brilliant thing about it, it was a lease, right? So let me explain that to you guys. People are like, oh, your lease, you buy it by. My lease, it was a 3-year lease, but I owned it because that's what you do with anything. If you're in an apartment, you in there, it's your apartment, blah, 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 blah. But it's different when it comes to a car. So this was a lease, right? And think about it, the person and whatever's left after the profits, you can get that money. So with that 3-year lease, but I owned it because that's what you do with anything. If you're in an apartment, you in there, it's your apartment, blah, 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 blah. But it's different when it comes to a car. So this was a lease, right? And think about it, the person who bought it, they like the way it is, so they paid me more than what I paid for it. So how much I owed left on the car. Remember, at the end of your lease, you can't buy the car.
He said the person that bought it from him. What person? This car was handed to the dealership, and the dealership basically threw it in the auction, and it's available at another dealership for sale. So what person are you talking about, man? Like,
and keep it, or you can sell it before or at the end of the lease, and whatever's left after the profits, you can get that money. So with that being said, my car got sold to somebody more that was left on the lease for me, so I get the profits off the top. There's a little bit of education why people want to talk about leasing and buying. I really don't care no more. I want to tell y'all everything to help you understand life. So yes, I sold it for more than what I had left on my lease, and I get that money back to my pocket. What a blessing. Just like I did with a few other money.
all right, so that's what he said. But we're actually gonna replay it again, so you guys can hear it a second time. You know, because sometimes some people, especially his followers, with all that brainwashing Organik does, it might be a little hard to comprehend all that. So let's replay this.
Break it down for y'all real quick. It'll be fast. Switch brakes, Lambo. I already sold. You know what I'm saying? And the brilliant thing about this Lamborghini, let me tell you, I'm gonna break it down for y'all real quick. It'll be fast. My Lamborghini yours. I bought it with 50,000 over sticker. And the brilliant thing about it, it was a lease, right? So let me explain that to you guys. People are like, oh, your lease, you buy it by. My lease, it was a 3-year lease, but I owned it because that's what you do with anything. If you're in an apartment, you in there, it's your apartment, blah, 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 blah. But it's different when it comes to a car. So this was a lease, right? And think about it, the person who bought it, they like the way it is, so they paid me more than what I paid for it. So how much I owed left on the car. Remember, at the end of your lease, you can't buy the car and keep it, or you can sell it before or at the end of the lease, and whatever's left after the profits, you can get that money. So with that being said, my car got sold to somebody more that was left on the lease for me, so I get the profits off the top. There's a little bit of education why people want to talk about leasing and buying. I really don't care no more. I want to tell y'all everything to help you understand.
So the car is, I mean, if you guys don't believe me, you guys can go check out the dealership, right? This is the dealership. I think it's in Florida. And they're selling it for $240,000. Let's be clear, you saw the price, $240,000. You guys can go check out the price. Now, most of you guys probably already, if you don't know, you should know. Or if you don't, you can go ask somebody that does know about dealerships and how that business works. But more than likely, this dealership didn't buy the car for the same price they're selling it for. So if they're selling it for $240,000, there's no way that they bought it for $240,000. They probably bought it for much less than that, maybe $230,000, maybe $220,000, maybe $200,000, maybe $205,000. But they definitely bought it for a price much less than the price they're going to sell it for. Otherwise, how would the dealership make a profit? So you just got to keep that in mind. But we're just going to go off of the $240,000, right? Now, Organik had this car for 1 year. He had it 1 year. I mean, that's pretty much the case with all the cars that he brings on the channel, and it's always the same bogus story. So the lease payment, all right? I don't remember the exact lease payment. Actually, we dropped a video about it a while ago. I might actually try to go back and find the price, but the lease, I remember, was like about $3,000, right? $3,000. So you said it was $50,000 over MSRP. So it was probably right around, like $340,000. So for 1 year, let's say your monthly payments are $3,000. 3,000 times 12. What is that? That's like, what, $36,000? $36,000. So if you take out the $36,000 off the $340,000, and by the way, he probably had to pay taxes and all that other processing fee and all that lingo. Because if you actually watch the video where he's actually taking delivery, he says it was actually closer to about 380, 385, something like that. Go watch the video. You'll hear him. I mean, if not, we'll probably drop another video until you guys get the picture, until the picture is very clear. So 1 year worth of lease payments, right? About $40,000. Let's say he made about $40,000 in payments, right, for the entire year. Let's say his down payment was what, like $25,000. So we're talking about 1 year of lease payments for $40,000, $25,000 down payment. That's $65,000. That's not even anywhere. If you subtract that from the 340 or the 380, that's like nowhere near the 240 price that it's actually being offered right now. So where did he make a profit? Where, folks? I mean, look, do we need to break it down like with a calculator so you guys can see this stuff visually? We're talking about let's say $25,000 down payment, $40,000 a year in monthly lease payment. So that's 65,000. If you subtract that from the 350, let's just ignore the fact that he paid taxes on the car. Let's just say the car is 350. If you subtract 65,000 from that, you'll end up with about $285,000. So that is the price to buy out the car at the end of the lease, roughly around $285,000. I mean, you can look at it at different angles because it was supposed to be 3 years, so I'm sure there was probably an early termination fee. I'm just giving you. I'm not even going through all the little details like that. You guys, if you guys lease cars, if you terminate your lease before the due date, you guys all know there's an early termination fee. So I'm not gonna go through all the mind games. But either way you look at it, there's just no way.
Fast. A Lamborghini yours. I bought it with $50,000 over sticker. And the brilliant thing about it, it was a lease, right? So let me explain that to you guys. People are like, oh, you lease, you buy. My lease, it was a 3-year lease, but I owned it because that's what you do with anything.
It was a 3-year lease, but he owned it. Like, this dude would just be like talking, he'd be talking out of his ass, all right? If it was a 3-year lease and you only had the car for 1 year, then there's an early termination fee, but I didn't even factor that in, all right? Now he's saying that it's a 3-year lease, but he owned it. So I think what he's trying to say, yeah, at the end of the lease, whether he terminated the lease after 1 year, he can still buy out the car. But buy out the car how and for what price? When if you look at how much his lease payments for a year were, and then look at the down payment, a possibility of a down payment, and then you were to subtract all of that from the price of the car, it still isn't. It's much higher than the price of the car listed for sale right now. The car is listed for $240. So if the car was $340, and I'm not even like calculating taxes, I'm not even adding all these other fees. You guys know all the fees are associated with cars when you go buy cars. So let's not play slow and stupid, because I know some of his followers are slow and stupid and brainwashed. But we're just going off to just the listed prices, all right? I'm not even including taxes, tax processing fees, this and that. $340. We're talking about like $40,000 a year worth of lease payments, maybe $25,000 down payment. But if you actually think about it, his credit is pretty good, and he's had other. If you guys don't know this about cars, when you own, when you've had exotic cars, it's much easier. The bank is more willing to work with you. But if you've never had exotic cars, then it really comes down to your credit and a down payment, a larger down payment. But I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he paid $25,000 down payment in addition to the $40,000 we're talking about like roughly like $65,000-$70,000 out of pocket, right? That still would leave the car at about $280,000, and the car is now listed for $240,000. So you would never be able to make a profit out of that. And we're talking about the fact that this car is listed for $240,000 doesn't mean that this dealer is actually bought it at $240,000. They probably bought it at a much lower price. So there's no way you can see a profit for him. And by the way, like I said, we excluded many things from this calculation. We excluded the taxes, the fees, the early termination. Folks, I mean, you guys can do the math however way you want to do it.
You're in an apartment, you in there, it's your apartment, blah, 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 blah. But it's different when it comes to a car. So this was a lease, right? And think about it, the person who bought it, they like the way it is, so they pay me more than what I pay for it. So how much I owed left on the car. Remember, at the end of your lease, you can buy the car and keep it, or you can sell it before or at the end of the lease, and whatever's left after the profits, you can get that money. So with that being said, my car got sold to somebody more that was left on the lease for me, so I get the profits off the top. Just a little bit of education why people want to talk about leasing and buying. I really don't care no more. I want to tell y'all everything to help you understand.
It's crazy how he's had all these cars. And I'll answer the question, all right, for the slow brain idiots. They're like, oh, why does this matter? Well, the reason it matters is because he sold master classes. He sold books to explain to you guys how this works, to basically persuade you into following his path, or at least to be able to achieve the level of success that he presented to you. But that's not how he really became successful. He became successful off of actually selling the books and selling the courses and selling all that bullshit, the consultation, the mentoring, the coaching, and just like if you look at these other channels now, they're all like switching suddenly to coaching or one-on-one mentorship. Is like, that is the money maker. They're just getting the car and they're paying off the car using the courses and all that stuff. So that's why it matters. But there's no way, if you do the math, like I said, it would add up to a profit for him. I mean, you guys can calculate it however way you want to calculate it. Now that we know what the car is being listed for, there's no way. And if you guys know anything about dealerships are in the business of making money. They don't lose money. So it couldn't be that the dealership made a loss on this car or made a terrible decision. I've never come across a dealership that has lost money on a deal. Like, especially this kind of dealership, this mom and pops, they're gonna be trying to make a profit either way you want to look at it. Maybe like a new car dealer, even car dealers in general right now, they're trying to make money. They're even marking up cars. And he just told you guys he paid $50 over sticker over MSRP. So like I said, you can look at it however way you want to look at it. All these brainwashed idiots that are trying to justify this, you ain't going to be able to justify it. This dude Organik is making you guys look like bigger clowns, and all your comments is just making you guys look real stupid. And you can tell you're stupid because if you look at your life, you haven't been able to achieve any of the kind of shit that Organik has said over the years you will be able to achieve if you listen to him and pay attention. I've never seen anybody that's actually, if you look at, there's one guy, his name is like Hellcat Dream and Josh. That guy's been following Organik and Tall Guy since the get-go, and he's still in the same position. So when I see people like that leaving comments, I'm like, so you're telling me in like the 5 years you've been following Organik and Tall Guy, you still haven't been able to transition your life around? Come on now. These guys are making money off of these promo deals and off of the courses, the master classes, the mentoring, the coaching. They're just taking advantage of you guys. It's just basically the equivalent of people selling other channels, like selling raffle tickets to cars that they're raffling. That's how they're really making the money. And then they just claim, oh, we're like super successful because of YouTube. Like, come on, man, stop. Cut it out. The only one that was kind of legitimate was Tall Guy. But now Tall Guy only drops content when he's getting like promo deals. When all his recent videos, go check them out for the last couple months now. They're all sponsored videos by companies. So they're paying him like maybe $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 just to sponsor one of the videos. So it's not just YouTube alone, but I'm glad now we were able to find the video so you guys can actually hear Organic. So it's not just me. You're not just listening to me. But like I said, I encourage you, in fact, I recommend you to try to justify it, how Organic made a profit. Because this is what he's supposed to be like, coaching you guys on how to make a profit when buying or leasing these exotic cars. But when you look at it, the math is just not adding up. There's no way you got this car 50 over MSRP, you leased it for 1 year, you terminated your lease, then you bought the car, and then you sold it and you made a big profit. There's just no way. And now that we know the car is being offered for $240, there's just that's just not possible. It just doesn't look possible. But I'm sure some of his expert brainwashed idiots are going to have some kind of explanation, because they always do. And then they feel miserable because, especially that clown that still got that yellow Mustang, talking about, oh, Organic is always spreading positivity. Man, have you lost your mind? Sometimes I wonder, like what kind of IQ do these people have? It must be like he's a new follower, because you have no idea what Organic used to promote in the past, man. Like, you got to be like a slow-brained idiot that's brainwashed or new. It's one of those two. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching.